are talking about how to hit your goals this month. We are launching into a new month. I hope last month was, amazing for you. You closed it out with fireworks. I'm always up till all kind of crazy hours of the night on closeout. It's always a very intense process, but a very good process at the same time. And so here we are, and we're kicking things off, and what can happen? I mean, what's possible this month? I mean, do you guys have some big goals that you are running for as we launch into this new month? So you might have heard of this before, but I just did a little bit of research online, so I have the actual numbers for you. Here's how it works. When you think about goal setting, right? We all have different things, all different trains of thought when it comes to goal setting. There are things that work and things that, well, they don't really work that much. So we're going to talk about what works, and we're going to dial down so you can figure out exactly how to use that in your life and in your business, okay? But I want to share these numbers with you because there was a study, it was done at Harvard, okay? And done back in 1979, and so they surveyed the entire graduating class of Harvard 1979. 84% of the people had no plans in particular. They were just going to take their degree and be on their merry way. Fine, right? Then 14% had their goals written down, and they had them there, but they didn't have a real concise plan of how they were going to get it done. Then the top 3% had their goals written down, and they had an exact plan for how to attain it. So they had a plan for their attainment. Now here's what they found. 10 years later, back in 1989, they went back to find out what's going on with these people. How are they doing? Did they hit their goals? Did they not hit their goals? What happened with them? So the 84% that had no goals written down, they were just still kind of doing the same thing. The 13% that did have their goals written down made double the remaining 84. And the top 3% that had their goals written down and had a plan for how to attain them. Get this, guys. Any idea for how much more these guys' net worth was? Because I had heard some rumors about what this number is, but it's going to blow you away. I had heard that the 3% was, their net worth was just as big as the other 97% combined. Okay, that's true, but it gets even better. It was 10 times greater. 3% did 10 times greater than the other 97%. So those are some pretty amazing statistics. There's some pretty amazing odds. And so we are going to talk about how you can apply them in your life and stack those odds in your favor. So 4 things for how to accomplish your dreams and goals as we move forward this month. Each and every month, it's great to start out setting a goal, but you have to start it with a positive intention. So go ahead and set your goal. Step number 1 is write your goal down, right? Whatever it is, write it down. So very important. And be specific. Hey, I want to be this rank by this day, and I want to help this many people on my team hit their goal as well. That is getting specific. Okay, so the first thing is have a goal written down, right? So the second thing is let's come up with a plan for how we're going to get that goal done. Now, what I like to do is I like to get out a good old-fashioned notepad, bust it open to a clean sheet of paper, and if it's you and you have people in your organization, then I like to draw out the business. So I don't know if you're gonna be able to see this, but let's say you're here, and let's say you have some different lines that you're working with, okay? And you want to kind of identify, obviously it'll be a little bit more filled in than this, but you want to kind of identify, where is it that you're going to work in your business this month and who are going to be the main players. Now, why is this important? Because for you to reach your goal, we got to have to help some people in our team, reach their goal as well, right? So you want to kind of go through and find out who are the core leaders that that they have a big goal that they're running for, and you want to talk to them. Hey, John, what you got going on? What's your plans for this month? What is your goal? Okay, great. You're going to find out what they want to do. Okay, note to sender. John wants to do this. Then talk to the next person. Hey, what's your plans? What are you excited about? What's your goal? And you're going to go all the way down the line. Then the next thing is that we want to go ahead and we want to take these numbers, whatever they are. Let's say this person's got a goal and we're just going to put whole numbers. So let's say this person's going for a number and they're going to go for 10,000 in volume. This person's going for 5,000 in volume. This person's going for, 3,000 in volume. And let's just say 17,000. Okay. So what does that come up with? 15 plus 20, 35,000. Okay. So what your goal is, let's begin with the end in mind. You are the architect of your very own business. Like, you're the one in charge. Nobody's going to do this except for you. So this is something I learned. I mean, this is not a new concept. I mean, it's like 50 years old, okay? But here's the thing. We live in a day and age where people forgot how to use a notepad and paper, and they don't do this. And this is like the fundamentals for how to be successful in your business. So draw your organization, find out what they want. Now, new sheet. If we know, hey, this person wants to do 10, this person wants to do 5, this person wants to do 3, and this person was going to go for 17, if we know that we have 35,000 coming in, that's their goal, then that's a pretty safe number of what you're going to be able to accomplish. If you're like, hey, my goal is 60 and my team's goal is 35, those numbers are not going to match up. So your goal is that you want to find out what your team wants and kind of match it up to what you're believing is possible for yourself. If there's a big, gap there, then we need to adjust somebody's goals so that we're kind of on the same playing field. So that is what is important to do. Now, the next thing that you want to do after drawing out your business is let's figure out like exactly what we're going to do, right? If we have a large organization of people, you might be talking to your key leaders, and then you might go down and say, hey, if you want to get to 10,000 or 17,000 or whatever the goal is, if you want to hit this goal, all right, who are the key people underneath you that we need to help hit their goal, right? So by dialing down and kind of going to the newest person in your business, it's always the newest person that's going to drive the growth in your organization anyways, right? It's not people that have been in forever. The leaders are going to lead the way, but the people that are brand new, the people at the bottom of the organization, shall we say, are going to be the ones that drive the growth, because the leader is going to go down to the bottom and say, hey, how can I help you? Here, let's help you run for this bonus. Let's help you run for this car program. Let's help you get your goal. And that volume is going to trickle all the way upstream. So that is important. So number 2 is you want to draw out a plan for attainment. If we just have this goal and we're like, I'm going for 12 grand, but we don't have a plan for how we're going to get it done, the odds are not very high that we're going to attain it. So that is if you have a team. Now, you might be saying, Summer, that is fine and dandy, but I don't have people in my team. Okay, have you ever felt like that? If you've maybe felt like that, or maybe you have somebody in your group and they're like, hey, I want to do this, but it's just me. It's all 3 of you, my friend. It's me, myself, and I, all going to build this business, right? And so here's what you want to do. Your goal, if it's just you and you don't have an organization that are building with you just yet, wonderful. This is where you get to put your skills and leadership to the test, because everything is all on you. And so what we want to do is we want to say, hey, if my goal is here, what kind of activity am I going to do? Am I going to be responsible for that's going to match that goal? Inside of you, you are inherently brilliant. I just believe that. I hope you believe that about yourself as well. If you say, hey, if you talk to 10 people, how many people you think you can get to sign up? You probably have an answer, right? So if we know, hey, these are my numbers of what I think I can get to get started, let's back it up. How many people do we need to talk to get an appointment? How many people do we need to connect with up front? Just kind of go back and work your numbers so you know, hey, if I have this goal right here, it might be an attainable goal, or it might be like, oh my gosh, that's a really big goal. But you know what? If you work your numbers, if your activity matches your goal, you're going to be good to go. And the whole thing is you got to kind of adjust as you go along. So that is number 2. The third thing in accomplishing your goals for the month is you have got to get some leverage on yourself. Now you might be saying, what on earth is that? Well, do you remember January 1st? You were excited. You had this goal that you were going for, and usually it's around weight loss, right? Or some kind of health thing, or maybe it's a money goal. And then 2 weeks in, we're like, oh, yes, I know there's a treadmill there, but it's collecting dust on it now. Like, we kind of fall off the wagon. So we have got to get leverage on ourselves if we really want to accomplish the goal. What is leverage? Something you want that you're going for, or something that you are running from. Whatever it is for you. For me, dude, when we started, we were so broke and just in a yucky, bad situation. I had great leverage because I was like, I am not going back to that. I'm not going back to having bill collectors blow it at my phone and people knocking on my door serving us papers. Did not want that in my life. So I had major leverage, right? So I don't know what it is for you. Maybe you have something that you're going to go for and you're like, hey, if I get my goal, I'm going to give myself this treat. Or if you're like, hey, if I get my goal, I don't have to do this thing I don't want to do. Whatever it is, get some leverage on yourself and get the family involved. Like, let's say your company's doing like a trip or something really, really fun. Get the kids involved. Kids, all right, sit down your kids. Tell them, guys, if mommy or daddy does this, we get to go here. Get them all buying in. They will hold you accountable in such a good way. So that is number 3. Number 4, when everything is said and done, we have our goal, we have our plan, we have our leverage. Now it's time to perform the doing of it. That means we gotta dial down, we gotta do the deed that gets done. So this is about taking massive action. Okay, now here's what's important to know. It doesn't have to be perfect action, okay? You're probably not gonna be perfect. We mess it up all the time, and that's okay. You can go to the top of your compensation plan totally messing it up. And if you're cool with that, hey, let's rock it out and let's do this. The most important thing is that you've got to get into massive action, because massive action is what's going to produce the results. So check this out. So I was going through this audiobook. I think it's called Ready, Fire, Aim, one of those things. Anyways, so I'm going through this. A great friend of mine recommended it. He's like, you need to listen to this book. It's all a book about business. And what's interesting, and it doesn't have anything to do with our business and network marketing, it's a traditional business book, but to help me change my thinking about business, right? So it talks about how all these people, a lot of times they'll spend all this time like getting this gorgeous office set, getting their brochures and doing all the legal stuff, doing all this stuff to be official, right? But then they shut down because they didn't do any sales. And a lot of times they do everything that's more comfortable except the part that produces the results in our business, right? And so here's the point, that that what they showed is numerous like case studies of person after person after person who wasn't like an esteemed business person, but they're like, listen, I'm like got this much money, I have this big goal, I have this big dream, I have this big idea. So I'm going to put a little bit here, a little bit of focus on, getting things set up. And then the rest is all promote, get into action. It was crazy because they shared a story of a guy who started with like literally like $1,000, who ended up building this huge conglomerate business that sold for $23 million. Yeah. So it was crazy. So what can that show us in business? At the end of the day, we have got to do the deed that gets it done. And the deed that gets it done for us is getting out there and showing what you have to as many people as possible. Now, I'm not talking about, parking lot things where you're showing someone something on the go, but you're like sitting down and sharing the buffet of what you have to offer, because I'm sure it is amazing. And so people have to know, people have to be informed to be able to make a good decision. So this is one-on-ones. This is, having them watch a video that shares everything. This is getting them to an event. Whatever the case is for you, the more eyeballs you can get on what it is that you have, the more you're going to be successful, the more you're going to get to your goal. So in addition to that, one of the things I find is a lot of times, I don't know if you've ever had this before. This totally happened to me. Have you ever had some goals that you set and you did not get the goal? So here's what happens. We have like issues around goal setting. Okay? Like we have a hard time setting goals because we're like, well, shoot, I didn't get it before. What if I don't get it again? Then what's going to happen, right? And so we have some baggage that we need to let go of and leave in the past. So if that's you, or maybe you're just like, man, I really, really want to do this. What do I need to do this? And you really need some help focusing in on what you want. I have something that will help. If you click on the link that's listed here in the description, it is going to be the 10-step process for ranking up, which I hope your goal is around ranking up. So click on that. It's my free gift to you. It will help you get over some of those past things that you've had to deal with and dial down and focus on how you're going to get to the finish line, how you're going to rank advance this month, how you're going to earn that bonus check or the free trip, or get in the car that your company has to offer. So all those things are fabulous. Guys, it was so great spending some time with you this evening. If this is something that added some value to you, pass it along to your team. Don't hoard the goodness if you felt that it was helpful. So pass it along. All right, my friends, that is all for tonight. Take care, be blessed, tear it up this month, and I will see you all next time. For more great training and to receive your free bonus training, the 10-step process for getting out of your own way, and finally rank advancing. Visit summergeronimo.com.